back to Unaware Commentary, the place for Pokemon TCG Battle Narration that doesn't care about the stats.
Welcome back, trainers. We are catching wild players here as the battle is getting started. Our player 1 on the left, drawing for the turn, playing a Buddy Poffin and going straight into the deck, finding 2 Pokemon with 70 HP or less and placing them onto the bench. Basic Pokemon only here. Going to be a Pokepad also being played. Going to allow for the searching up of a non-rule box Pokemon into the hand. It does not have to be a basic, but it is going to be a Dreepy that is chosen, finding its way onto the bench. A Munkidori in the starting position for our player 1. Going to play an Ultra Ball, discarding a Dawn and a Lily's Pearl. Just a handful of playable cards going to be available to our player 1. Going to find a Meowth with the Latch's Ditch catch ability as it is placed onto the bench. Going to the deck, finding a supporter for next turn is going to be a Lily's Determination and a Team Rocket's Watchtower being played to end the turn. Going to turn off the abilities of colorless Pokemon in play or coming down from the hand. Our player 2 going to draw and look at the top 7 with a bug catching set. Going to find any combination of grass Pokemon and grass energy there, add up to 2 to the hand. Looks like we're eyeing up a Weedle here, going to be placed into the hand and the deck being shuffled. Important for our player 1, it did look like we did some prize checking. Our player 2 not able to go into the deck quite yet. We do see the attachment of a grass energy to that active Weedle and the playing of a Forest of Vitality, bumping the Team Rocket's Watchtower. The Beedrill EX deck, known for usually playing the Dunsparce draw engine, so getting rid of that, what is likely a one of Team Rocket's Watchtower early is going to be good. We do see the playing of a Lily's Determination, going to allow for the shuffling of the deck and the drawing of 8 cards, as no prize cards have yet been taken, being that our player 2 is going second. They are going to be able to play that supporter on their first turn, see 8 new resources, potentially be able to follow up their initial plays with setting up more of a bench presence available. It does look like there is a means of going into the deck to be able to search up what cards are going to be available in those prizes, as well as get some additional Pokemon into play. You'll see 2 Pokepads come out of the hand. Look for 2 different non-rule box Pokemon and place them into the hand. Prize checking in the Beedrill EX deck is essential, as having more Beedrills in play means more damage, so it means you have to know how many Weedles, Kakuna, and Beedrill EX are going to be available. Looks like there's a Smoliv in this deck as well. Possible there's a thin Arboliva line available. Our player 1 going to be on the Blaziken EX version of the deck, so it'll be interesting to see how much of a role that Blaziken EX plays, how many Blaziken EX are going to be available, as well as how many rare candy are going to be available to our player 1. Usually only 1 Combuskin going to be available in the deck, so rare candy pretty essential, especially if there is going to be a bench there. We did see the finding of a Dunsparce as well as a Rabsco with its spherical shield ability, going to be able to protect bench Pokemon from the secondary effects of attacks, both the damage and damage counters. We do see the attack, a surprise attack is going to be a head, so we're going to deal 30 damage to that active Munkidori, potentially turning on a Adrenabrain here if there's a dark energy in the hand. But the turn going back to our player 1, who quickly drew, evolved into a Dragapult on the bench and played a Pokepad, going into the deck to find a non-rule box Pokemon. Possible we find and try to establish that Combuskin or a second Dragapult just to see some additional recon directives, more cards, more options. We do see that Dragapult coming down. Essentially the playing of a Lily's Determination here to optimize being able to see as many cards as possible. Plus we have a different supporter card we might want to be available, or if there are resources in the hand to play with. Looks like the choice between a Pokepad and a Blaziken. Going to play the Pokepad, go into the deck, find a Badoo. So if there is an energy available, we may see a Badoo come into play to prevent something like a rare candy into Beedrill EX, but that's not likely going to happen here. Maybe try to thin down the ability to search for a Dunsparce or additional Pokemon into play, because with the decks playing a Forest of Vitality, there is not usually a need to play rare candy. Forest of Vitality allowing for players on all turns except for their first turn to evolve their grass types immediately and multiple times. So you can see a Weedle grow into a Beedrill all in one turn when they come down. We did see an initial recon directive that was used before the playing of that Lily's Determination that was played by our player 1, allowing for the going into the deck of shuffling the hand into the deck, pardon me, and a drawing of 8 cards. We do see an Ultra Ball come down here, discarding to a Buddy Poffin and going into the deck and finding a Blaziken EX into the hand of our player 1. Possible a rare candy was found. There it is, and a Blaziken EX finding its way into play, we do see a recon directive here, looking at the top 2 cards, placing one on the bottom, a dark energy going to be the choice. Dark energy going to be able to potentially move that damage on the Monkey Dory over with the Adrenabrain ability, being that there's a dark energy attached to the Monkey Dory. Possible we see the Adrenabrain, then it being retreated, and then the attachment of a we already attached for turn, so we won't see an attack with the Blaziken this turn. Blaziken does only attack for 2 energy, and with its Seething Spirit ability, it is usually easy to be set up in a single turn. Being that we saw the attachment to the Monkey Dory, though, unlikely that we see a different attack here. Possibly we see the Adrenabrain damage being moved over and then a retreat into the Beedrill, just to limit those item cards like we were previously talking about with Itchy Pollen. We do see the Adrenabrain going over. Looks like 30 damage possibly being placed on the active Weedle. Yep. And an Itchy Pollen, so that Weedle going to go up to 40 damage, and our player 2 is item locked, unable to play items on the following turn. Our Dragapult player well set up with one of the powerful stage 2s in play and 2 track cloaks available to see lots of cards. You see an evolution of the Weedle into Kakuna and then into Beedrill, utilizing that 4-star vitality, utilization of it. Just evolving into the Rabsga, not going to need the Force of Vitality there, as the Relor was on the field during the previous turn, just shuffling the hand into the deck here off of a Lily's Determination. Going to go into the deck and still draw 8 cards off of the shuffling of the hand into the deck, as no prize cards have yet been seen. We are firing off on all cylinders here. We are going to have enough damage available in play with the Rumbling Beast to take a knockout on the Beedrill, but that Blaziken EX in the back, a massive threat with its 320 HP, going to require 3 Beedrill EX to be in play at some point in this game to be able to take a knockout on the Blaziken, lest we are going to try to go around it. But notably, Dragapult EX, once it comes into play, also has 320 HP, and we know that there is one in our player 1's hand. The 8 cards going to provide the resources for a second Beedrill EX to come into play, a Kakuna and a Beedrill finding their way onto the bench wheel, as well as another Weedle finding its way onto the bench, and a Rumbling Beast coming in, dealing 220 damage to the active Beedrill. The quick promotion of the Blaziken EX after 1 prize is taken by our player 2. Initial recon directive, the choice of a Psychic Energy or a Dragapult. Dragapult EX going to come into the hand. Looking at what options are going to be available here, it does look like that Dark Energy made its way back into play off the Seething Spirit on the previous turn, so we do still have a Dark Energy on our Monkey Dory. Adrenaline is still going to be available. We're going to see the discarding of a Dragapult EX and a Psychic Energy for an Ultra Ball to go into the deck and find a Torchic onto the bench, putting an energy into the discard pile to potentially be utilized for the Seething Spirit. We did just see one of those recon directives, so this Lily's Determination going to allow for the shuffling into the deck and drawing of 8 cards, since there's still 6 prize cards available to our player 1, and then 2 more cards likely to be seen off of the recon directive, depending on what cards are available here. Possible that we find a Fire Energy off of these cards, as we will want to utilize Blaziken EX as our primary attacker here with that Smolder-sault, as its attack doing 200 damage with 400 damage, as Beedrill EX is weak to fire. Grass types typically having those weaknesses. There are odd weaknesses throughout the Pokemon TCG history, with things like a Delta species Pokemon or even some of our Terra Pokemon having some unique weaknesses, but the weakness of the Beedrill is going to be fire. We're going to see 2 Psychic Energy come onto the Blaziken to allow for the retreat, the promotion of the Monkey Dory into the active position, as we don't want to risk another Beedrill EX coming into play, going to require boss's orders if we want to have 2 prize cards taken. Our player 2 going to be relatively okay with potentially taking this Monkey Dory, as it would allow us to get back on the 2-2-2 prize race. We did see a Lily's Pearl discarded earlier in the game. It would be something that could throw that prize trade into question, but it's going to be less of an issue as there is not a Clefairy in play, and we threw away the Lily's Pearl. We are seeing the resolving of a bug catching set here. Looking at the top 7 cards, looks like 2 Beedrill EX being taken off of that bug catching set. Do we have a Kakuna in hand or a way to go get one? Looks like we're looking at the available options. There does appear to be an Ultra Ball, discarding both a Smoliv and a Dolliv. Not going to be utilizing the Arbolivo route here, though it could track down that Torchic on the bench and stop the existence of a second Blaziken. Going to see a Dunsparce come out of the deck, going to likely find its way onto that Dunsparce on the bench. Got to shuffle up though and randomize that deck before we run away draw and see some additional cards out of the deck. We know that there is a Beedrill in the hand. We are looking for a means of finding that Kakuna, as it did not come off the top 7 cards of that bug catching set, but getting a third Beedrill EX into play here, and a boss's orders could be huge for trying to track down that Blaziken, as Dragapult, without the assistance of something like Dusknoir, is going to struggle to get to those Beedrill EX numbers, and Blaziken does not. So Blaziken is going to be the primary threat our Beedrill EX players are likely going to be looking at. You see the drawing of 3 cards here. It looks like a Smoliv and a Dawn. So we're going to see that Dawn being played, likely going to go into the deck and find a Dunsparce, and definitely that Kakuna, which is available, a Dunsparce to be able to reset up that draw engine, maybe an Arboliva just to thin, as we know that those other 2 Beedrill EX are in the hand. Also, the Arboliva EX is prized, as one of the resources has to be prized, as we know the Beedrills certainly aren't. As we have seen all 4 of them throughout the game, we're going to likely see another one coming down here. Our player 2 going to be able to set up that draw engine, and again get back on that 2-2-2 prize race that exists when playing against these large EX decks. Going to see the benching of a Weedle for future turns, the attachment for Grass Energy for the future turn, and a large Rumbling Bees doing 330 damage to that Monkey Dory. Promotion of Blaziken, the top decking of a Fire Energy, the utilization of Seething Spirit, a Rare Candy, a second Blaziken finding its way into play, a Recon Directive looking at the top 2 cards, finding of Secret Box, going to be the ace spec of choice for our Blaziken Dragapult player. Potentially going to utilize that to find some additional resources here. We haven't seen a supporter use, so could go get that, but possible we want to save it to go grab something like Boss for Game in a later turn, or be able to rescue Stretcher something like the Meowth out on a later turn to turn it into Boss for Game as well, as that may be a resource, though these Beedrill EXs are likely to be the Pokemon in the active position. Hunting down those last 2 prize cards are going to be important, as well as being able to find a Stadium bump. Secret Box really does just do it all. We did see the discarding of Combuskin to Dreepy and a Night Stretcher out of that opening hand. Secret Box allowing for the finding of 1 trainer card type, each going to be a supporter, a tool, a stadium, and an item card. So far our choice is looking like an Area 0 Underdepths to get that Forest of Vitality out of play, slow down the bees. Not going to grab an item card, it looks like just going to be a Boss's Orders and an Air Balloon, means of getting out of the active position. Ability to be more flexible with our promotions, or also in times where there are items being attacked like they are in the format now with things like Crushing Hammer, seeing a resurgence for our players, that the ability to be able to flexibly move our Pokemon is going to be important. We are going to see that Smolder-sault come down, doing 400 damage to that active Beedrill, going to take that damage out of play. We are going to need to see a Forest of Vitality come into play if we're going to see a knockout on this turn, to be able to get back on that 2-2-2 train and to be able to catch up here. Just discussing that there should have been a Seething Spirit potentially utilized on the previous turn. There is a Forest of Vitality in the opening hand, a Boss's Orders. Not going to need to find that other Beedrill if we can just target down the Meowth to take those 2 prizes. Meowth had already done its job, but can become a liability sitting on the bench because of its low HP stat. Just a quick promotion of the Blaziken back into the active position with energy on it, as it will be available to attack now this turn because it came out of the active position as the Meowth was pulled up, as it's 170 HP from a resource. Our draw for turn, 2 quick Recon Directives, bring some additional resources into play, a Fire Energy finding its way onto that Blaziken on the bench, and a Judge coming out, going to put down the hand of our player 2 and our player 1, both down to just 4 cards. We have already utilized at least one of our Recon Directives, so just down to 4 cards, but being that Recon Directive is actively in play, all 3 Recon Directives, I had missed the playing of the 3rd Dragapult, 3 Recon Directives going to be available, and if none of them have been utilized, it is a great way to get out of this Judge hand, whereas our player 2 is going to be required to find something like the Lily's Determination, that's right there, and a Dunsparce. We do have the Forest in play, so it's possible we see a crazy turn come out here from our Beedrill player to be able to take a big knockout here. It is not out of question if there's a means of playing things like Rescue Stretcher, if there's means of playing things like Dawn, the Sacred Ash Dawn combo, just spills a Beedrill straight into play, but a little bit more difficult here. Do see the playing of that special red card going to put our Dragapult player down to just 3 cards, shuffling that hand, placing it on the bottom, drawing up 3 cards off the top of the deck. Do see a Pokepad going into the deck, trying to determine what resources are going to be available. We do see a Dunsparce come into play. Again, something like a Sacred Ash and Dawn play does put 1 Beedrill into play, and we can shuffle another Beedrill EX back into the deck to be able to functionally get it back out. We just have to find all of those resources, and the Dunsparce is going to be the key to doing so, as well as Lily's determination that we did see in the hand, just determining what other resources do need to go back into the deck here. We know that one of them has to be the Beedrill EXs. Looks like additional Weedles and Kakunas making their way into the deck to give us lots of options to potentially draw off of the runaway draw. I want to make sure there's enough cards in the deck to resources to be able to find them off the runaway draw if there isn't an immediate Dawn in hand. I did see the Lily's determination, so maybe we are just trying to hit a hot hand here. It is going to be a Lily's determination. We're going to finish shuffling up the deck, and we're going to see 9 cards that are going to make or break our game here. An exciting way to be in the Pokemon TCG, as it will make a huge difference what these 9 cards are going to be. 6 off the top, and then 3 more potentially from the runaway draw. It would be likely that we may find some item search here to be able to find some additional things. Meowth doesn't do anything. Boss doesn't do anything. Does look like another Kakuna, but no Weedle to put it down in. And Arboliva EX. Those are not going to be helpful. Dawn's not helpful right now, as we didn't play those 2 combination of cards. Just a Lily's determination shuffling in here. These need to be the perfect cards. Buddy Poffin does get the Weedles into play, or a Weedle into play, to be able to evolve up, but I didn't see a Beedrill EX. I know that there's a Kakuna there. We do see the Dunsparce. We could see a retreat here, forcing our player 2 to find something like a boss's orders to be able to track down this Beedrill. Can't quite get to a single prize board, as we already have 1 Beedrill EX in play, but can promote something else. Nope, we're just gonna see the concede, as Blaziken EX would likely take the knockout on the following turn. That'll be our game, players. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.